What's going on, everyone? In today's episode, we're in the flower garden today, and we're gonna be talking about topping your flowers. It's a very important step that if you wanna increase your production, get healthier, happier looking plants, you're going to wanna do. So it's time to give your plants a little haircut. When it comes to topping your flowers, this is something you absolutely want to do. It's not quite like a pepper, where we just did a pepper pruning video on the pros and cons of pruning your peppers, what they look like if they've been pruned, if they haven't been pruned, comparing them. And in that video, we talked about how it's optional. It's something that you can do if you want, if your growing season is long enough, if you have the right type of pepper. With flowers, you absolutely want to prune them back. You want to deadhead them when they're done flowering, because it encourages more flowers. You see, flowers are quite a lot different than a pepper. You see these snapdragons here, for instance. If a bumblebee comes and pollinates this snapdragon, it will actually form seeds. And a plant's main objective is to form seeds, and the flowers are the fruiting body of that plant. Now, a pepper is not quite that case. A pepper, its main objective is to produce seeds to survive, yes, but the flowers still do form a fruiting body, which is the pepper, but then the pepper has to ripen fully for those seeds to be viable. And you have a lot of time for that plant to continue to grow, and it just has a little bit different growth habit. With most of your flowers, by pruning them or deadheading them, this is going to encourage more growth and more flowers, which just means a showier, happier plant. And in some cases, it can keep the plant alive. Some plants, if you let them bloom and then they're done blooming and you don't deadhead them, they'll just simply wither and die. Take, for example, a sunflower. Sunflowers, if you top them, believe it or not, that big, beautiful sunflower will actually be gone, forcing lots of other side growth. And all that side growth will have many dozens of smaller little sunflowers. Almost like if you harvested the biggest head of broccoli, you get those little florets that pop out from the little branching nodes, the little leaf nodes. The same thing happens on a sunflower. Take, for example, these marigolds here. Eventually, when the flowers dry up, the flowers need to be deadheaded. Otherwise, it will form seed, and that plant will not be encouraged to produce more growth and more flowers later on. When it comes to pruning back your flowers, there's two different ways to do it. There's deadheading, and then there's cutting back. Now, cutting back is a little bit different. We'll talk about that in a second. Deadheading is just simply this. The flower will continue to grow and produce, but you need to clean up these flowers, these stalks, so that viable seeds are not formed. If viable seeds are formed, that sends a signal for the plant to stop producing growth. So we just want to simply deadhead, and then the rest will simply happen. This actually happens with beans. If you harvest beans, there's an old saying, the more you harvest, the more you get. That's because the beans themselves, the moment you let a bean form with seeds, it will actually stop producing altogether. Cucumbers are exactly the same way as well. Cucumbers, if you let cucumbers form viable seeds, the plant will simply wither, and that's because it's achieved its goal. And so by harvesting that little stalk right there, we've essentially stopped the flow of nutrients up into this seed head here, which then, because it's dead, there's not going to be viable seeds in here. These are all very immature, still very water rich. That's because we got it at the right time. This right here, it's on the way out. It has already bloomed. The inflorescence has already happened. We can come down here, we can clip that off, and that way it sends the signal to continue to produce more flowers. That's deadheading. And next, there's cutting back. Now, you can think of cutting back if you've ever grown basil. You cut back basil, much like you'd cut back these snapdragons. So you've got here the main plant. It's producing this stem, which then produces a flower head. And these flower heads here, that is essentially going to be the end of the plant. If you let this fully form, the chance of this forming more flowers is pretty slim, because this just needs to be cut back. And if you want to encourage more growth, what you do is you come down here and you'll notice there's lots of other little bits of side growth. So coming in here, you simply come in and you cut back roughly about 30 to 50% of the plant. And what you'll notice is that all these little shoots are going to start to grow, and you're going to encourage that bushier, healthier plant. So yes, you did pull this from the plant, or you harvested it, you cut it. You can take this inside, throw it in a vase, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And yes, you do have a temporarily less beautiful plant, but you'll be so thankful you did in the long run. And this is cutting back. Again, you do this with basil. You cut back basil to keep those seed heads from forming, produces more growth, more lateral side growth, bushier, healthier plant in the long run. And that keeps it from dying. So that is really it to pruning your plants and deadheading your plants. I know there's a lot of people that have asked about flowers, and I'll be honest, flowers are not my main forte. But because we have this beautiful asset here, and because a lot of you ask for it, I thought I'd at least cover the specifics, because there is a lot of crossover, like I said, in peppers and basil and sunflowers. A lot of the plants that we grow in our vegetable garden, we also can grow similarly, similar style plants that are that are flowers rather than vegetables. And the final thing I'd say too is do your research. Do your research on which plants need to be deadheaded and which plants need to be cut back. Some plants both can happen. If you're growing, for instance, a geranium, you can cut back a geranium, or you can also deadhead a geranium. Some cases, you only want to do one or the other. So do your research. Do your research. There are thousands and thousands of flowers out there that I can't even begin to get into the examples of which ones are which, and that because it'll be an hour-long video. But I hope this helped. I hope to shine some light on what you can do, this very super simple thing you can do to keep your plants healthier, keep them happier and producing, and the differences between them. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And this is Mrs. Emma Gardner's flower garden, so let her know in the comments box down below how beautiful this thing looks. It is absolutely incredible. Really proud of her. So, all right, catch you guys later. Grow bigger. See ya. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, consider clicking this one. You'll probably enjoy it just as much. I want to thank you for your viewership, because without it, this channel would not be as amazing as it is. Also, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's free, and we upload videos every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. We also have vegetable seeds, fertilizer, or tools. If you need any of those, consider visiting migardner.com. Links will be in the description box below. We've got you covered. And as always, we'll see you all in the garden. Take care.